little Charlotte, she's as pretty as the angels when they sing. I can't believe I'm out here on her front porch in the swing, just a swinging. I said, little Charlotte, she's as pretty as the angels when they sing. I can't believe I'm out here on her front porch in the swing, just a swinging.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3. 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM W297CL Levittown.
It's time for Under the Hood with Fred Fletcher from Fletcher's Garage. If you have any questions about your car, truck, or SUV, from tune-ups to tires, give Fred a call at 215-949-3232. And now it's time to go under the hood with Fred Fletcher.
America's mechanic is always on duty. All the time, 24/7.
I feel it today, too.
You're right. You're right. It's like a carryover. It's like I left, but I never felt I did. You know? Yeah. So
Today we're going to give you a break.
yes, we're talking about brakes today, aren't we? Oh, gee,
Somebody needs it.
somebody needs it right now. Yeah. Hey, anybody's got a question? 215-949-3232. Brakes. You even brought some of the.
Brought some stuff in here.
Who said, "Give me a break," and he
came and gave you some breaks.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, well, just some visual props. Not that anybody on radio can see it, but
Yeah.
here for the camera.
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
So, but we'll start talking about the what to look for when you're having a brake problem. So, a lot of people think of it as the noise, the squealing noise, the grinding noise.
Yep.
But some things that you don't actually ever think of is the reduced stopping power. And what happens with that is most of the time, not all the time, if you have to push really hard on the brake pad, but it does stop on the brake pedal.
You got to do it in sections. You're kind of like pumping it, and then you might get it on the third one.
Yeah, well, that usually is an indication of in the old days, the rear brakes were out of adjustment, or you needed the brake system bled. But a lot of what we've been finding a lot of is if you're stepping on there, you got a lot of extra effort. The calipers aren't sliding the way they used to on the pin, because the calipers actually slide to compress the pads against the rotor and slow the car down. So, but if you're pushing on it and it's not stopping the way that you're used to, or whatever, we have to take a look at the calipers and the pins, because a lot of the road salt and debris and stuff gets caught up in there, and the caliper actually slides on those pins inside of a bracket. So, when they start getting bound up, they get a bunch of stuff in there. They don't compress, or they start to drag.
Like a grinder kind of thing, right? Yeah, grinds it up.
Yeah, well, sometimes it'll hold it down and just wear the brake pad all the way out. But most of the times, what we've been finding is they're not stopping to their ability, or maybe you're only stopping on. Of the 4 brakes, you might be stopping on 2 or 3.
Yeah, we're doing it like on the installation plan, and you do that. And the old timer says, "Oh, those brakes are soft."
Yeah,
they used to call that but their brakes were soft.
Brakes are soft or spongy.
Yeah, and that was
always a bit
maybe that wasn't the right word, but like you said, the function was out of whack.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times we haven't seen too many spongy brakes anymore.
Yeah, that's old school stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is like self bleeding and stuff like that. Now there's a lot of electrical parts in the brake systems. There's electrical parts everywhere. But the electrical brakes will keep a lot of that pre-bled and self-adjusted.
I remember the calipers and all that stuff in there, and then you used to see all the thing like you had there, Fred. It was all scarred up and nicked. I mean, from all the grinding, it was.
Yeah. Sometimes if you had the caliper, it would lock up and it would
Yeah.
grind down into the rotors.
Yeah. So you had nothing but looks like the pock marks and chips are
on the rotors.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get if you have pock marks and chips, you either got cheap rotors, or they got hot at one time and they really hot and they blistered. I've had a few of those where they.
I had a couple you installed, and it looked like I went through a meat grinder.
Right.
And it could have been it could have happened on 95. It could have happened in your backyard.
Yeah, you never know when they're going to stick, and that's what I always say. I could spend all day working on your car, making sure it's running right. Yeah. But if it doesn't stop, what good is it?
You kind of got me there. Yeah.
Than going is
that's right. That's right. So.
Yeah. Like I was saying, when you're talking with the meat grinders, the scored brake pads, what'll happen is if it gets hot and they hold down, and the metallic brake pads will work like a lathe.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Start cutting it down in there, and then. That's where you start getting your noises. Whether at first it'll start as a squeal, because on the brake pad you'll see, not on this one, but you'll see a wear indicator. We call them squealers.
Squeal, yeah. And half the neighbor, and anybody who's walking their dog is going to turn around and you. Yeah.
And your neighbor yells, "Hey, get brakes!
Come on! It's long overdue."
At 5 in the morning with that.
It did actually happen to me on Haynes Road. I was right near the elementary school there, and had to make a stop, and it sounded awful, grinding.
Yeah, grinding.
I actually turned around and went to your place in Fallsington, and you said it's calipers and
the calipers stuck and drug you down
ASAP.
Yeah.
So you were able to. Yeah. Fortunately, had were able to do it.
A lot of times people keep driving, and the caliper will actually hyperextend, and the piston that's in there that's supposed to push in and out will fall out.
Yeah, it's
then you have no brakes.
Yeah, and it's not going to improve.
No.
So you're more or less say, okay. Give it up.
Yeah, do not turn up the radio.
Yeah. I've done that. Yeah. Fortunately, America's Mechanic was on, so I had some valuable information to do.
No, turn up your radio now, yes.
Yes. Or give us a call, 215-949-3232. Yeah, and maybe certain, you kind of know your car with the squeals and you kind of know all the it's crying,
their personality,
or coughing or whatever it's doing.
Yeah, your car has a cranky personality with all the squeals and grinds and moans and
right.
Yeah, kind of like us.
Yeah, but they used to go through even back in the day. They used to have faulty brakes. Used to come in every once in a while on. Parts that malfunction. I mean, that's and I don't know how that happens, but it does.
Yes,
like anything else, right?
Yeah, it's just like everything else. Yeah, and we see a lot more of the calipers and stuff that we're installing, and I don't know if the quality control is not there anymore.
Yeah.
It seems like since the pandemic that we have to double check and be the quality control before we even install it, which is a good idea to begin with.
Sure.
But sometimes there's stuff internal that you don't get to see.
But you'll get a certain percentage of parts, or it could be battery, anything else that are defective, right? I mean, there's never 100% right across the board, right?
That'd be a little hard to be a little tough to expect. Expect.
But you expect it. Well, in the 90s, maybe what's it about 5 to 10?
There was always a certain level.
Yeah.
It just seemed like again, maybe I'm getting older and crankier, but it seems like a lot more lately. Maybe because of the high tech stuff that they're using, or the cheap overseas steel that they're using, and metals. Or the quality control. One of the first things that a lot of these factories did was, when people started losing their jobs, they were the quality assurance people. Because they're like, well, we need somebody to put them together. We don't need somebody to check them. No, you need somebody to check them.
Then you get in the reverse, you could get a defective part right out of the assembly there. I mean,
we've had a couple. We get them and open up the box and send them right back.
Yeah, like a Dodge Neon had burn oil. I mean, it had rings.
You can't send a Neon back.
No, you couldn't. But you had to live with it. You had to get it fixed and live with it. But you could have something like the Toyota thing with the steering all of a sudden went.
You still get some recalls. We just had sent one back for a recall for the airbag. Another airbag. We're still fighting with Takata airbags. which I think that's just going to be forever.
Yeah.
Because it's already been 12, 15 years, and they haven't changed them all.
Anybody wants to recall us, they can do so. 215-949-3232. We'll happily recall you.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Another thing that happens a lot that we've been seeing with the brakes, calipers not retracting, is the brake hoses. Now, I didn't bring a brake hose with me to show you.
Oh.
But there's rubber hoses that go down to the calipers. They're a double wall hose. You might look at it from the outside and say, wow, there's nothing wrong with that hose. You might see a little bit of cracks and stuff, which is actually, depending on how bad they are, is a fail for inspection. But a lot of times there's an inner wall that collapses on the inside from over time, and not having your fluid changed forever. Again, let me say that because I'm not a super big fan of just arbitrary brake flushes. I see a lot of these coming from the dealers. They're like, oh yeah, you got 15,000 miles on, you should have a brake flush. No. I would say probably go 45, 50,000. Then we'll check it. To me, that's just a money grab. One guy had one that they told him he needed it at 8,000 miles. And there was nothing wrong. It was perfectly clear fluid.
Man, just let the guy
They
drive the
probably wouldn't have
car.
done anything anyway.
Let him drive the car. Leave him alone. Gee, man.
Yeah. So.
God, they can't even get out of the showroom without somebody recalling that. Oh, by the way.
But there's quite a bit of things another thing that we've been seeing a lot of over the last 10 years is the metal brake lines that are in there.
Yeah.
They're formed. They go inside the frame. Whatever they're using now with the rock salt, that was bad enough, but now they have brine solution, and that sticks to the metal. It's like napalm. It sticks to the inside of the frame.
Smells like victory.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Smells like victory.
Yeah.
Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
No,
It sticks to the inside of the frame, eats away at the fuel lines, brake lines, and you never know. It happened to me once. I was coming down from Doylestown, stepped on a brake, and it just was gone. Luckily, there was nobody else on Swamp Road at the time. So
now, extreme weather can affect it like anything else, right, Fred? I mean,
not so much
extreme heat. I mean, the heat friction together.
Yeah,
maybe
if you have any kind of anomalies with your brakes and it's hot, and they say it doesn't, it starts to drag or whatever like that, or just pushing on them hard.
Yeah.
I'll tell another story in a second. That'll affect it. The heat will affect it, but most of the time it's the winter time with the road salts and the cold, the snow, the slush, the crap, and but a lot of times if you're because I'll say it happened to me in Colorado. We had a brand new Chevy Blazer back in 1991, and we were coming down one of the mountains down there, and they say do not ride your brakes because it'll overheat the brakes, and you'll see it with the big trucks too. If they drag their brakes and they get hot, it boils the fluid and it becomes pretty much has no viscosity to it, and you will not have any brake pressure with it.
Yeah.
It becomes almost like water, and then you have to let it cool down again and let it recongeal itself.
Yeah. It always seems to be like the old movies that somebody gets those brakes have been tampered with.
Yes.
When they want to get rid of some guy.
You cut
those brakes have been tampered with. So it always seemed to be it's like a old noir picture or something like that. Somebody's cutting a line.
Yeah, well,
those brakes have been tampered with.
Usually, if somebody cuts a line, you know right away because as soon as you get in there and you step on the brake, it's going. You don't get to drive 15 miles like you just see on TV, and then it decides to go. No.
Yeah. But there's always somebody tampering with those brakes.
It's always
bunch of amateurs, huh? I'll be the one that does that. Yeah.
So and newer cars have all four wheels are pretty much disc brakes now, so it's a lot simpler to diagnose them than the old days when we had the drum brakes and you couldn't see inside there, see how bad they were unless you pulled everything all apart.
Was there more guesswork in the old days?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't as complicated as now.
Yeah.
So you had to use your brain a little differently now than we do now.
Sure.
A lot of times, what we can not by visually looking at them, but with a brake system, we can if it's acting up, we can actually hook our scanner to it and activate the different brakes and see the different pressures coming out of each caliper.
Yeah.
So that's how technical things have been getting over the years.
Right. And most of it's been good. I mean, some of it's been what?
Yeah. Some of it's overkill.
Some and you look at it like. They're just repeating the same function.
Yeah, I'm still an old school guy, but some of this stuff is it's worthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Anti-lock brake systems are great. I remember when they first came out, we were all kind of like, "Oh man, this is going to be a pain in the butt."
Yeah.
But with the valves and the solenoids and everything that's in there, but as far as safety-wise, you can't beat anti-lock brakes.
Yeah, I think there's a thing you said, the safety and then ease or a certain 1 to 10 repair difficulty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be like on the scale. Oh, this is an
There's
easy.
a 1.
There's an easy entry, and then you go, oh, don't give me this
I
one.
think they all start at 5, and then they get.
Yeah, yeah. They also want everything is now more aerodynamic, or it's now cut and it's hard to get to.
Yeah, the downside to that is you can't put your arm in there and just change a spark plug. Now you got to disassemble half the car.
Yeah.
We just had a water pump on a 2017 Ford Explorer. There was actually a class action lawsuit from whoever designed that motor. Because that water pump is dead inside the middle of the motor, and you have to take the timing chains and the sensors and the tensioners and everything out of it. It was a 13-hour job. It was like almost $3,500 for everything. Yeah,
it took you a while to get to the main event, to get there.
Yeah, that's why I felt bad. I'm like, I'm sorry, your water pump's going to cost you $3,500.
Yeah.
It's all, a lot of it's labor, but while we're in there, we should change your timing chains, and that wasn't going to twist our arm, but you're in there, and again, it's another $600-800, but we don't have to open it back up again, because that's the next thing. That is another problem with that particular engine, is the timing chains on those. Yeah. So we kind of took care of everything all at once for the money.
You're also trying to play a what if. I mean, you said we better fix this thing now because it's a difficult repair. Later, maybe we can save somebody in the long run by doing what you're doing.
Yeah, because it would have been 13 hours to get to the water pump. It would have been at least 12 hours to get to the timing chains if they went bad 200 miles from now. So we're like, this is up to you. This is what we recommend, only to save you in the long run. So we put the ball in the customer's court.
and it's a difficult repair. So you want to make sure that it's done right too. Yeah, right.
There too, we had a defective part coming out. I bought a kit for the timing chains, tensioners, and put it all together. One of the tensioners were bad. So
those brakes have been tampered with.
Yes, the timing chain tensioner was tampered with. But we had to almost take it all back apart again and start. So we had 20-something hours in it because of a defective part.
Yeah,
but we made it right for
and there's no guarantee about the amount of time spent, based on you could run into something else that would take you another hour or two. I mean,
sometimes
these guys they're going to be in the Smithsonian by the time we finish this repair.
We had but you're always 5 hours away from one broken bolt away from a 5-hour job. And we had that the other day on a Ford van where we were doing a catalytic converter, and we didn't want to take the manifolds off because the manifolds literally fuse to the heads over time, and you have to pull the whole engine out and redo that. Yeah. So Joe had to spend like 5 hours, and the bolts broke in the manifold, so we had to put new studs in there.
Yeah.
It's like 5 extra hours.
It is kind of funny because I got some work done way back when in Jersey, and they just don't want you hanging around the shop, sitting in there and looking around.
Right.
How long is it going to be? How long?
Yeah, that's the wrong thing to do to a mechanic.
Yeah. So can you do me a favor? Here's a newspaper. There's a Burger King down there. Can you just kill about an hour and get back to me?
That's one reason why.
That's what I learned. I learned. Maybe just shut up and move on. Yeah.
I don't stand over my heater guy when they're at the house.
Right, yeah.
I don't stand over my plumbers or my electrician. Please don't stand over me.
We're the worry warts of our car. That's kind of the way it is.
And also way back in the day, we were all friends and people used to hang out. And that's a different scenario than what we have nowadays. But people all used to hang out at my dad's shop, and I'd be working on their cars, or Dad would be working on their cars, and they would BS or have a soda or a beer or whatever. But that wasn't so bad. But nowadays you have so much focus that's involved in here. To have somebody sit there, hey, how come that thing is discolored? Well, you're concentrating on that,
and you can mess that up. Yeah,
you're working on a water pump, and the guy's like, hey, when you're done with that water pump, can you take a look? It looks like there's a rock in my tire.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, Please.
We got my mechanic actually has like a shuttle service. Can you get a ride home there I'll call you when I'm done.
Sometimes,
and if you're close by, that was always an easy one. Listen, it's going to take some time. And there's other guys ahead of you, so I'll let you know.
We had that this morning. Luckily, I have a nice reception area for everybody.
Yeah.
And we had I think I have 4 chairs in there, but today we had 6 people waiting, so it was a little bit crowded when I left, and my guys were knocking it out. So.
Yeah.
But if you could stay in the waiting room, and if you have any questions, you can ask me and Kelly, and we'll go out and ask the guys.
Give it the best shot you can.
Yeah, because the guys really they want to focus on getting the job done and without interference.
Yeah. Hey, 215-949-3232. Give us a call if your brakes have been tampered with. No. 215-949-3232. Because you're also a diplomat at the same time.
Yeah.
Not only a mechanic, but you're also a diplomat and public relations.
It's not like I don't want you out in the shop because we're trying to pull something on you. And if you feel that way, I want you to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But no, there's a focus thing, and if we're not trying to intentionally hide things from you. It's just the way things have to be nowadays.
Right. Yeah. And it's. Hey, the oil change. I mean, you've taken the keys from her oils. You're back in an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't change it that fast. All right, I'll take his word for it.
We're not Jiffy Lube, but we get it done.
Yeah,
we get it done right.
Especially when you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
that helps, right?
Yeah, if we actually, like your car, we know exactly what filter number it is.
You do.
We know what size wrench is the drain plug.
Do you remember the first car you ever fixed? Literally just fixed, Fred, as a kid or whatever. Is there?
Well,
I know your dad did the shop.
My dad, we always had cars floating around, but I really didn't poke around.
Maybe 12, 13, maybe?
I played around, maybe 14, 15.
Yeah.
When Dad was working at car lots. We'd poke around on
Help
cars.
Me with this thing, will you, son? The kind of stuff.
Trust me, it was nothing nothing crazy or in depth. No, that was Dad's job.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me have that.
You weren't fixing the Batmobile or anything, were you? No, nothing like that.
I'm going to say the first one I remember is in Trenton was my Vega. We bought.
You that Vega, man! I'm telling you.
Well, we bought the Vega. It was really, I think we paid $50 for it or something.
Yeah.
And it had a bad motor, so we drug it down to my dad's shop, and Dad's like, "All right, let's tear this motor apart and redo it." And so we had to redo it. We actually found, because we had a lot of Vegas laying around.
Your dad must have been most patient man in the world.
Most of the time.
Yeah,
he'll be the first one to tell you.
Man, I mean,
I tested that patience quite a bit. So.
I'm sure you did.
But
you have to have a certain kind of mentality to do this. So
so we rebuilt the engine in my Vega. That was probably the first one that I can lay claim to.
He was hoping that you'd get rid of the thing, right?
No, he liked his Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah, he liked his Vegas. I remember the other one I did this was my mistake. A friend of ours was getting rid of one of his Corvette 4-speed trans out of his truck, and I was going to put it in my 76 C20. And Dad's like, "You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that." And then it was, I did it, and I blew that thing up immediately.
Yeah.
So
kind of like what you posted on there about the redneck. Something.
That was the redneck airbags. Yeah.
Man, that was a heck of an explosion, though.
Imagine that hitting you in the face.
Oh. Yeah,
that's what they do.
That would be a heck of a hospital visit.
Yeah, that guy's wheel had like a 4-second hang time on it before it hit the Honda.
Wow.
That was funny.
You don't realize that if you do mess up like that, that could be a major injury coming your way.
Well, it's like step one of doing any kind of airbag work. Remove fuse.
Yeah.
Remove airbag fuse.
Wow. Boy, the whole force behind them. You don't really realize that. It's just not one of these little doink. It comes at you like a shot.
Yeah,
it's like being shot.
Yeah, when we first started doing, we had a lot of stolen cars in Trenton, and we used to rebuild the steering columns. Mm-hmm. And so they started to have airbags in them towards the end, late '80s, early '90s. you had to disconnect that because imagine trying to pull on that steering wheel and then the airbag blows off. You're eating the steering wheel. And then,
Yeah, I can remember sometimes it would go off even on a freak stop, and all of a sudden it could, you get burns from them.
oh yeah, you get burns, you get
yeah.
shrapnel. That's what the problem with the Takata
Yeah.
airbags,
Yeah.
which they're still fixing, is that. Well, they had little tiny pieces of gold and stuff in there because
Yeah.
of the terminals, and then when they
You would take like getting hitting with brass knuckles or something,
the
right?
retainer ring would shatter, and
Yeah.
you would get like little shrapnel in your face or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was the problem with the Takata. Still is
Wow.
too.
Anyway.
So
Whoa, man.
yeah, boom.
Those brakes have been tampered with. I can tell you. Hey, 215-949-3232. Give us a call. In about 5-6 minutes, we are going to be shifting into speed mode, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go out this weekend, but hopefully Nick calls and Mark and
Yep.
and Earl.
Round up the usual
Yep,
suspects.
and maybe a couple of drivers because
Yeah.
been talking with some drivers online and
Have you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going on and what's going on this weekend and what's going on in the next few weeks around here. I'm not going to be able to go out again this week. I really missed my racing already. It's only been 1 week.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know you had Relay for Life and everything.
I had Relay.
Yeah,
My brother-in-law's funeral was Saturday, and then we
Yeah.
went to Relay for Life after that and
Yep.
celebrated his life.
Yeah, that's
And,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and we were busy, and then
Good
Sunday.
to step back every once in a
Yeah,
while.
we had to regroup and do some family things. Sunday, it's my wife's birthday this week, so we're celebrating that.
Getting close to sainthood, I'm telling you.
She's already there. Yeah, she's already there.
Yeah, that's the ones that the one's calm and the others over the top, and then sometimes you reverse everything.
Yeah, every once in a while we have role reversals.
Certain things that will make you angry that don't register with her, and then certain things that are important to her is like, I don't even get that.
Yeah, we'll leave that to the Venus and Mars thing.
Yeah.
But
You're Pensbury, you're Neshaminy, something like that.
yeah.
Anyway,
Well, she's Neshaminy, I'm Ewing.
that's right. That's right. So
Daughter's Pensbury, so we're in the middle.
Absolutely.
And my grandkids are Pensbury.
And grandkids have been getting around a little bit. They're happy to get out of school, man. I'm telling you, right?
Yesterday was their last day, half day, and Grayson starts middle school this year.
Wow.
I'm telling
What
you.
is going on here?
Yeah.
Man, I did enjoy watching the kids. I was on Haynes Road. They get the Mill Creek. They get that. It's a fairly new grammar school, and they had like game day. And I remember those like it was yesterday. It was the gateway to the summer. It was you had your friends and everything. And it was just good. You didn't have to worry about teachers anymore and grades and everything. It was a great feeling.
Yeah, the grandkids had that last week over at Fallsington Elementary, and but I remember ours back in Alfred Reed, over in Ewing. And
Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? The last day of school.
Yeah. The three-legged race, the sack race.
Yeah, and they used to have the yearbook. Happiness is, and it was always the last day of school. It was for everybody, right? I mean, it was.
They used to roll down that hill over at Moody Park, and all of us just.
Yeah.
It looked like the monkeys rolling down the hill.
Right, but you had to. Back in the day, you had to wear your school clothes, but now it's not really necessary anymore.
As long as they wear clothes.
That is. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. But there should be dress code.
Uniforms.
Yeah, dress codes though.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, we had to. Well, we were allowed to wear jeans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when I was in first or second grade, there was like in 71, 72.
Yeah.
But I remember the girls in sixth grade because it was a split school at Antile.
Yeah.
And some of the girls were like sixth, seventh grade, so they were early teenagers. They were, with the hippies with the flowers on the.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Some of the jeans were ripped and flowers in their hair.
Yeah.
It's like,
boy, you don't need a stoplight there with all that was blinding.
But yes, we were allowed to wear jeans and boots and
school,
So, but no uniforms. That wouldn't have went over well.
No, I just. Don't like that one.
Yeah, I'm just glad the kids are having fun now. They had a really good time.
Good.
And we can rub it in because my granddaughter's because they have orange and black in Pennsbury. She was on black, Grayson was on orange.
Oh, yeah.
And usually they're on the same team, but they were split up this time, and black won. So
Flyers colors.
So Grayson says Kinley cheated. So typical brother-sister thing. Love it.
Yeah, that's good. You know, it's they cheated, so somebody's going to be a lawyer. Maybe he's going to be out of the crew. They start arguing and everything else. It's funny. That's good. That's good stuff, though. I mean, the activities. I remember those. You know, and you always mention stuff like that when you're at reunions.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we were.
You think this stuff is forgotten? Not until you meet 20 or 30 years later.
Yeah, we just had our 40th a couple years ago, and it was almost 40 years ago to the day. I mean, almost 2 years ago was our 40th, and we step right. Every time we see each other, it's just like right back into the thick of things. Like we never missed a minute.
Yeah, and then
never missed a minute.
I remember kids used to sometimes cry because they had friends, but they lived on the other part of town, and they were, you say, well, I'll see you in the fall, kind of stuff. And
we were all neighborhood, right around, the Brayburn and Moody Park. Everybody hung in Moody Park, even in the summer. So we really never lost touch with each other.
No, but we are about ready to get in touch with our other half of Speed. Yes, and we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be coming right back here. WBCB, if you feel the need for speed, stay with us.
Fletcher is back to Fairless Hills at the corner of Hood and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills. Fred will be offering local hometown auto service and repairs, even offering pickup and delivery, state inspection and emission. Fletcher's Garage is a full-service AAA facility. Call 215-295-4931. That's 215-295-4931, or visit Fletcher'sGarage.com. And remember that phone number again, it's 215-295-4931.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pantheon Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase all your wine, liquor, and other fine spirits right next door. Visit us on Facebook or online at pantheonbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Yardley, Pennsylvania.
We went to Talladega to do a little racing, about 500 miles. Our thoughts of embracing, speed around the old Beaton Junior and Senator home.
Oh, yeah.
Winner of Daytona.
That's right. We are shifting gears. Two shiftless guys here. We are ready for the need for speed. That first half hour went there.
We were talking about
with
stopping.
The break. Yeah, now we're talking about going. That's great. Okay.
We still need brakes.
We do. You do. That's right. Imagine if we
at least some of us. I see some of those drivers out there. I don't think they ever hit the brake. They just use more gas.
Oh, but it's one of the reasons why they lose brake is they're constantly tapping, constantly using, and I think that wears that stuff out. I mean, I just stay off the brakes. Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, you see a lot of that. That we were talking about about brakes boiling. Boiling. You'll see that, and that's actually what killed Ken Miles.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. When he was running that GT40. The brakes weren't enough for the car, and he was really working it because he always pushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I read the book, not just watched the movie.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So, that's actually what took him. And the brakes got so hot, so red hot,
just literally melted.
The fluid boiled, and everything just lost all kinds of pressure.
Can you imagine that? The heat and tore everything there together. It's like a blast furnace in there, right?
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. No, they get cherry red because metallic brakes and metallic rotors, and it's just gonna.
Right.
I've actually seen some get so hot they blister. One guy pulled up, says, "Yeah, I think I need brakes. They're making noise." So I said, I can't do it right now. This is when I was in Trenton. And he goes, yeah, they're really bad, really, really bad. And So if you can leave it here, I'll get to it later. He goes, no, I got to go somewhere else, and I need to get them done now. So I said, okay. Well, he pulled away, and the chunks of the brake rotor were melting into the road.
Oh, God.
It blistered, shattered.
Yeah. I mean, you see roads buckle and everything else in extreme heat and everything.
Yeah,
so
you
man, you could try to imagine that times 10.
Yeah, so
Maybe,
I don't know how far down Cortlandt Street he got, but
no, not far. Not
after
far.
that.
But anyway, here we are, and the season is heating up. I guess you could say.
Looks like we got past some of this crappy weather from the first few races of the year, and now it's going to get warm. And, warm and sunny, and race season's up. So I missed a lot last week. Looked like there was a lot going on. Hopefully some of the guys can call and fill us in on what was going on in New Egypt, Wall, and Bridgeport. Looks like they had a really good showing down at Bridgeport.
Yeah, it looks like you got a pretty good week coming up here with weather-wise. Father's Day, I don't know I guess it would be a Father's Day gift for some. Might be worth something.
Well, New Egypt, there's going to be a graduation night.
Really?
Yeah, because it's graduation night, Father's Day.
Yeah.
But what's happening is there's probably a half a dozen rookies that run, the cars, and they'll actually graduate into the sportsman or the crate class. So so there's never a full season of rookie running. They just get out there, get acclimated, and then they
go cold, huh?
And then they move up to the other classes. So, but that's cool. That's actually very, very cool. And, also there on Saturday, you got your crates doing. Northeast Wingless Sprints, they're always a fun watch. Street Stocks, 4 cylinders, are always fun. Mm-hmm. I was never thought I would be a 4-cylinder fan, but some of those guys have really run hard, and it's really cool. So, and then you got vintage, where usually you see about 3 or 4 old cars from like the from the 70s and 80s, even from the 60s.
It is the old days now. I mean, something from our day. I just saw that. I see the stuff on Facebook. I go, oh man, look at that.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that great? Impala, whatever.
Yeah, I remember having
Chevelle, 1970 Chevelle with the scoop.
Oh. Yeah, everybody had one. Now it's like they're hard to get. So but that's going on in New Egypt. What else is happening over there?
Boy, the Chevelle could really move. Remember those scoops on the hood? My brother had one. He could. Man, could that thing go?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
My buddy had a Road Runner. That was
a Road Runner. There you go. There's another one. Yeah.
Road Runner.
Yeah.
318-73. It was a bigger car. It wasn't like the
Road Runner. Yeah. I know the Plymouth had the Duster. Those days. Remember that?
Yeah. Some of those Dusters were pretty bad.
Yeah, they were bad.
Yeah. So I'm bad in a good way too. So,
yeah.
But Bridgeport looked like they had a good run. Modifieds. Brian Papier's won, and looked like there was a bunch of the top names were hanging up there too. So, Cale Ross, Sammy Mart, Danny Book, Frank Cozy. Yeah, I like Alex Jankowski. He ended up 6th.
Yeah, the life of a racer, Fred, maybe you would know, is just like training. You got to get in the game to do it. Yeah. I mean, is there certain places that people would go to do those kind of things, or to be involved with races? I mean, you just don't say I'm here. Do you have to have a track record or something?
No, I'm not sure of the whole thing of how to get into it. Maybe Earl can talk to it about that. Yeah. But I was just reading. There was one guy. There was Jimmy Blewett, James Blewett. The whole family's been running since way long time ago, and he's 15 years old and he's running now, and he won actually the other day.
Okay. So. Hey, let's get rolling. Get to the phones. You're on with Fred. Go ahead.
Hey, Fred and Jim, Earl Krause.
Hi, Earl.
What's happening?
Ladies and gentlemen, doing this morning.
Good.
Can't feel the need for speed, Earl.
That's it. You got it. Good.
So
things went well with the Relay for Life last week?
Yes. Yeah, things went very well. It's very emotional. And, but, I wasn't there the whole day because we had, the family things in the morning. But, once we got...
Sorry to hear of your loss there. That's sad, yes.
Yes, thank you. But, we went over there and spent the rest of the night and, celebrated. And I actually took part of the Luminaria ceremony, reading people's names. And,
very nice. Wonderful.
So, it was a very emotional. Good night. So, but what's happening at Wall? give me a reason why I missed it.
Very good. It was, the feature winner first time this year was Andrew Krause.
Yeah.
He had no relation to me.
Okay.
His family operates the racetrack. His mom, Diane, and his sister is the general manager. And Andrew took the win first time this year. And he calls it, the car he won with, he calls it his Jinx car. When he's won he's won 3 championships and over 20 features since 2016.
Yeah, it's a real jinx.
And he's always done it with his very reliable, he calls it the black and orange car. It's a very well prepared, modified, and 2 years ago he put together a brand new, beautiful white and orange number 27, and the car, is always fast, but just never had any luck with it. Always, he is so meticulous in his preparation, he and his team, but there'd always be some strange mechanical problem, or there'd be a crash that he would have he'd become involved in it for some reason, but it wasn't through his own making. So he kept calling the car his Jinx car. Whenever he bought it out, he'd have a problem with it. But this year he was determined. He was going to make that car work, and he won the feature last Saturday night. So it was quite a celebration for the team.
Nice.
It proved that car could do it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of neat. His older car, the one that he's won all the races with, there's a young kid who races at Wall named Brian O'Shea. He lives right in Wall Township. And you'll appreciate this. His dad has a long-established automotive garage right in town. And Brian started racing probably about 7 years ago in the factory stock division. And he's won 3 straight championships and 20 features.
Wow.
Really good kid. So the end, it was about 4 weeks ago, Andrew Krause, when he was running the newer car, he asked Brian, if he wanted to have the opportunity to run his modified, the older car. And the kid did really well the first time out. I believe he finished 10th. And then last Saturday night, Andrew won the feature, and Brian O'Shea finished 4th in the modified race. So kid's impressive.
Nice.
Very, very smooth. And you can see he's got a good teacher. So, but his dad raced also, and his sister races once in a while. So, the O'Shea family is quite a good team there. And as they say, away from the track, they have this automotive garage. They call it the best kept secret in Wall Township. And just a good racing family. So.
Yeah, cool. And maybe you can shed some light on. Jim asked before you got on about. What does it take to get into racing as a young kid or anybody really?
To make not make a profession, but to be involved with it. To get paid.
Driving.
Yeah.
Best thing to do if someone wanted to really get involved is, start off being a pit crew member. Find a local team. Like you mentioned, 4 cylinders. That's a good example, a good entry level. Or, of course, the factory stocks. Even a modified or sportsman team. Even if it's just volunteering, and you're a teenager, and if you got, some sort of mechanical aptitude, maybe not even, really being a good mechanic, just hook up with
hand a wrench
every week. Learn what it's about, and during the week, work in the shop, and it's not easy just to build a race car. But that's the advice I always give to people who have asked me, how do you get involved?
I remember I was 15 and hanging with Dad in the pits, working on a couple of guys' cars, Gary Schloter and Billy Osmond and those. And I kind of stayed out of the way, but I was there in case they needed something.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was always cool. I was 14, 15 back then. So, but now I see a 15-year-old driving a car. I was like, I don't even think we were really allowed in the pits that much.
Paulie Hartwig, I think that's you may be speaking about.
It was James Blewett. I think he ran New Egypt.
Right. He won 2 rookie races last weekend.
Yeah.
And again, there's a young man named Paul Hartwig. They call him Paulie. His dad raced for many years, and Paulie is still too young to race in New Jersey, but he's been racing in Pennsylvania, New York, down south.
Okay.
And he is, for a young kid, he's definitely old school in the sense that he races and wins on both pavement and dirt. Again, he hasn't raced at Wall Stadium yet because he's too young to run in New Jersey.
Right.
But he's he's raced at asphalt tracks around the Northeast and beat the veterans, and he goes to dirt tracks. He wins there. Nice kid too. I've met him several times, and very respectful.
Nice.
And he's going to be one of the really good ones as he gets older. So that's kind of neat there.
Yeah.
And there's a good example too, because again, his dad raced and owned cars, and I know he literally grew up around racing, just like James Blewett. Literally, from the time he was old enough to walk, he was in the race shop.
Right. So yeah, cool. So yeah, I wasn't sure how it happens anymore, because it was like back in the day we would I'd work on the pit crew, maybe someday think about driving, but it never materialized. But I didn't know if there was they had to go through a licensing
closed circuit or something like that. Yeah. Cheer some that can be in the right place at the right time and win the big race and never get hurt again.
Yeah,
others have been doing it for years.
Yeah, but
and have no interest in stopping.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think back in the day, probably if I got to be 16, 17 and I wanted to ride in a car, if we had a car, because then that would be something different. But I didn't know if there was a licensing thing or anything like that.
Not really, not that
Okay.
I'm aware of. I mean, you have to, if you're in the pit area, you have to be old enough to go in.
Right.
Which in New Jersey, I believe it's at least 16 to be allowed in the pit area.
Okay.
And you have to be pretty much with a team. So
Yeah, you're not just going to wander around. That's pretty much how it was back then too. And
Yeah, but there's also rivalries too. If they have one car driver against another, they'll make sure those two go head to head. I mean, somebody's always mad at Jeff Gordon all the time. I mean, it's like
well, not anymore.
but it seems like everybody. But the rivalries were sometimes what made a race and drew more people and viewers.
Yeah, I think there is some of that still going on. I
Yeah.
mean, we talked about the Ricky Stenhouse, clocking Kyle Busch.
Oh yeah,
But a lot of those, it seems almost manufactured.
Yeah, I guess at WWE stuff maybe, but
I mean, trying to get the viewership up, but it's not. I mean, maybe I'm just waxing nostalgic here because with the Donnie Allison, Cale Yarborough, that was a for real fight.
That was that was. Yeah.
There was some, AJ Foyt was always ready to throw down.
Those were lifers too in the business, and you don't find too many of that. I think they come and go a lot quicker now than they used to. Maybe just the mentality.
I mean,
of it.
we're not there to fight, but there is it was always a nice rivalry. Like I remember Dale Earnhardt always having rivalry with Mark Martin or whatever, Rusty Wallace.
There's another one, yeah.
It was a friendly rivalry. Those guys would run each other on the track, but go out hunting the next day.
Yeah, you see him talking after the race was over, and it was right down to the end. But then when that ended, so did the competitive stuff.
And even if they would throw digs at each other, but it was all lighthearted. It seemed lighthearted.
Part of it, yes.
Yeah. So I always watch the Dale Earnhardt stuff, and it's always amazing, and how cool he was at all times with with everybody. I've never really seen him lose it.
He was just he was very blunt.
Yes.
And it's kind of like it's kind of lost in today's. Everybody gets right to the point.
Yeah. So tell us, Earl, what's happening hot the next couple of weeks. I have a paper here, but you can tell me what's going on.
A good night coming up at Wall. Of course, Father's Day weekend, and in advance, happy Dad's Day to all the fathers in the audience. And again, my dad, got me involved in racing. I was just a young kid. My dad took me to the races, and that's how I got hooked. So always like to salute the racing dads out there who got us involved. So.
Oh yeah.
And at Wall this Saturday night, modifieds have a 40-lapper. And then something that I know I personally enjoy and a lot of fans do, when you have twin features for a division, well, Wall this Saturday night, the Sportsman division will have twin 20s, and our factory stocks will have twin 25s. And there'll also be a 25-lap feature for the legend cars, and again, a 40-lapper for the modified. So it's going to be a real neat Saturday night at the stadium.
Oh, yeah, sounds really good. And then next week, I see you got the family fun night with the demolition derby. That's always
right.
Cool. It's always cool. And then probably soon, something I'm going to shoot for is the Garden State Classic on the 29th.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, let me know. That's a tradition of Wall Stadium, going back to 1957.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedules today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go down on the Garden State Classic. And I don't think I have anything to do on the 29th.
That could also be a springboard for future races too. You get you get one classic pretty soon. You might be able to parlay that into something else too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but cool. So looks it's gonna be a great weekend down at Wall. So invite everybody to head on down there and see what's going on. And next week's gonna be just a lot of fun with the Demolition Derby and whatever else. They have a bunch of family fun stuff going on. And
exactly, and that's we've always said Wall Stadium has that Jersey Shore vibe.
Right.
Along the Grandstand Midway, and a lot of families are there, and we have a funnel cake stand that's been there forever. Family named it's called Johnny and Debbie O's. They're the founder of it. Now their kids and grandkids run it. And funnel cakes at Wall Stadium on a Saturday night. That's a tradition. So just all part of it. And it's a great place to go. And as well as, hey, if you're go to New Egypt, go to Bridgeport, go to Grandview, support. Go to Maple Grove. Support the local tracks. That's what we need. This is what we got to do. This is why you guys do the show, and why I do what I do, and Area Auto Racing News. We have to keep it going and get these. Just talk about new kids, not only at the grandstand, but get them involved in the pit area, work on the cars in the shop. Even if you're not a mechanic, hey, wash parts or clean the floor, do something, get involved. That's the key.
Make your dad mad and play with the thing that cuts the tire treads, the hot iron. Yeah, put that down.
Put down that coffee.
Every time he saw me, I had that hot iron. I was trying to cut a tread in the tire. No, leave that alone. So good times, good memories.
It is. It's good to go on the other side of it. Get on the upside there.
All right, Earl, so I will be catching up with you, and then we'll be here next week too. But I'll be catching up with you probably on the 29th down there. So.
Sounds good, Fred, and you and Jim, please keep up the good work. And again, appreciate it. And happy Father's Day to you guys as well. So.
Same to you. Thank you, Earl.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Is there like a website that you can access for stuff like
Wall? There's Wall Stadium. Or you can go on their Facebook pages.
Okay.
It seems like all the racetracks keep up on their Facebook pages.
Yeah.
But there are websites for each ones with schedules and what to look for, what events are coming up. Whether you're going to get the vintage, I think it's Jeep Night coming up at New Egypt.
Wow.
I think it's next week though.
Jeep
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Nick was saying. There was I don't know, so many Jeeps one time.
Like the Rat Patrol there. They'll be doing that there out there.
There's a lot of Jeeps, a lot more Jeeps than you think.
Yeah.
It seemed like everybody had a Jeep that night.
Followed by about 10 lawyers. They overturned too easy. That turned out to be like Ike Eisenhower said, maybe the greatest thing ever invented, the Jeep.
The Jeep
for World War II and getting around and doing stuff.
Yeah, as long as you knew what you're doing.
Yeah, and I you'd see a couple of driveways, a great utility kind of thing, packing up, hunting or going fishing or doing whatever you're going to do.
Simple, nice, little 4-cylinders, just hop in and go, and a little strong. They were geared really low, and you can get almost anywhere with them.
Yeah, and easy to maintain, not 8 hour repairs, so that should be there for a week.
The water pump on that Jeep was probably about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But not like that 13-hour Ford.
No, but imagine spending just all day doing. I can't. Now you've done it.
My guy was on it all day. All right.
God bless him.
Yeah. It looks like Maple Grove's got something going on this week too.
Maple Grove. All right.
It looks like June 15th. Well, actually tomorrow, June 14th, they have it's a test and tune, which is always fun to watch. Spectators are going to get in for $15, and they just get out there and run them up, and then so without all the brackets and stuff like that, just test and tune,
right?
And then Saturday, the gates open at 7 a.m. So you get
7 a.m.
can
Man,
spend
you
your
got
day at Maple
man.
Grove.
7 a.m. Man, you want it bad. Can't wait for the Need for Speed.
And
Huh?
that's when you get in there, and there's a lot of cars up there, and
Get the coffee going and just be ready to
some people
walk
stay
the
out
grounds.
overnight. There was a lot of campers. I mean, we stayed out overnight in a couple tracks, usually Dover or
Maybe I could understand. I can remember going to Major League game with my dad, and we'd get there really early when batting practice was starting, infield practice. You just could walk around a little bit, just get the flavor of everything, and batted balls and everything else, and then the game, and then you didn't feel the game started. But that was just to get that part of it was really neat.
Yeah, I mean, we did that with going to the racetracks, and I said, we'd leave on Thursday for a Sunday race at Dover, and then stay out and stay at my dad's motorhome.
Yeah.
Or if you had a camper or a tent, either way, it was all fun.
Yeah, you might get lucky before that. You might get an autograph. You might get a chat. You're doing something.
Yeah, it would. Maple Grove was the same way. This a couple weeks ago when I was up there, it was like motorhomes. And people make a weekend out of it.
Yeah,
It was,
absolutely. Yep, yep.
And I remember back in the day, we would ride from track to track to track and stay in my dad's van or sometimes a motel.
It's like an alter ego kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that.
It was like freedom on, just riding around, going from track to track and hanging out and having cookouts and everything. It was great.
Right, yep. You're up with Fred. Go ahead. Sorry to keep you waiting there. Go ahead.
I wasn't waiting that long, Jim. What's going on?
Hey, Nick. What's happening?
Jim, it was Buzzini all along. You know that,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Oh, man.
Fred, what's happening, Fred?
Same old stuff. Just
I'll tell you what, I watched the race from Bridgeport last night. What a show they put on last night. Tapia wound up winning the modified feature, and then Brady Bacon wound up winning the sprint car feature. I tell you, I really enjoyed watching that last night. It was a hell of a show.
yeah, I got it. Was that on the Dirt Track channel or Dirt Track Digest?
It was on Flow. The
okay.
Flow Racing channel.
Okay.
And
all right, so I'm gonna have to tune in on that one so I can catch some of these ones that I miss.
yeah, if you get a subscription to Flow, you get to watch all the dirt stuff and all the other stuff that they have, and it's a pretty neat deal.
Ah, cool.
So, yeah, or you get a subscription to Dirt Track Digest. So, yeah, there's no modifieds at New Egypt this week because they have the Dirty Jersey race on Tuesday.
Right.
So, they're going to focus on the graduation and all that. So
they're just doing the rookies and what are the crates, I guess, or just rookies?
They'll do the the rookies, then they'll have the crates.
Yeah.
They'll have everything else except for modifieds. Whatever other classes they have, they'll have all them except for modifieds. And, Jimmy Pruitt's son James won the 2 races last week in the rookies, and he's going to race again this week, and then they're going to move him up to the regular class. I talked to Jimmy this week on the phone, and pretty neat deal. I kind of breaks my heart that I wasn't there to talk to the kids because I kind of got close with a lot of these people, and then when you don't get to interview them when they get their first wins, that's his first dirt win. It kind of breaks your heart when you don't get a chance to be there.
Yeah, I was blown away that he's only 15 years old and running like that. It's awesome. I love it.
Wow.
So,
he
15.
Yeah.
Earl mentioned Paulie Hartwig. I mean, Paulie won at North Wilkesboro. So, I mean, these kids are learning fast. And I talked to Jimmy about Paulie Hartwig, and he said he's the real deal. I mean, and there's a lot of youngsters out there that just have raw talent. And then you put them in the right equipment, and they can get the job done. My brother always told me you learn bad habits from driving junk. If you don't drive no junk, you don't develop no bad habits.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Where you heading anywhere this weekend?
Maple Grove's got some stuff going on. My wife will be there 2 times this week. I think they're off on Sunday for Father's Day. And then, of course, Bridgeport's got their stuff going on. But, yeah, Father's Day is usually a big deal at the races. So, Fred, you've been there several times.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I won't be able to make it this time. I I got I got a graduation party to go to on Saturday night this weekend, and I spend time with my grandfather on Sundays. It's Father's Day, so I'm gonna take my mom up to see him, and I'll hang with him for a while, and then it's my Father's Day, so we'll see what happens.
I hear you.
So, I'm gonna start. At least the weather's getting nicer now too. So
Oh, yeah.
we can get out and
See
see some.
It's about time, right? It's
Yeah,
about time that. But we went right from spring right to summer now, so it's going to be 90s. So.
Also, racing weather. I mean, you when it's bad, muddy, and everything else, that sometimes they call them off, right? Because it makes it hazardous to run, right?
Yeah, you can't run when a really wet track because
Yeah.
bust up your stuff.
But good weather, hot weather is fine. Right?
Well, it gets a little dusty, but that's all right too.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's
that's all right
okay.
too. But that's why I hang by the concession stand in New Egypt. I hung right on the box, the press box. You get a little bit of shade for a while, at least.
The Thin Mints 500, Fred. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, there you go. You ain't got to walk far to go get you some ice cream and, and do all that kind of stuff. Yep. I miss Johnny Ice Cream. Johnny the ice cream guy used to walk in front of the grandstands, and he could get some ice cream from him. I mean, he'd done it at Flemington, East Windsor, and done it at New Egypt for a while. Oh yeah, yep.
You bet.
But as far as we go, you guys are doing a great job. I get a lot of good feedback from it, and I got to meet Fred finally. My wife, he's doing some work on my wife's car, and
we're gonna make sure she gets to Maple Grove.
Yeah, he kind of looks like has a Russell Crowe kind of look about him. That's the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My wife's been wearing her Fletcher's T-shirt.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, she's presenting Fred. So
All right.
I don't know.
All right.
So I sent you some Earnhardt.
I know they were great. I got them hanging in my office already. Thank you so much. Yeah. Nick sent me a couple nice framed pictures of Dale Earnhardt with the stamps and everything. Awesome. Goes right in there with me. So.
All right, my man.
Yep. So.
Well,
I still want to get with you. And one day next week, we're gonna have to get together, maybe one night or something, and then meet me at the shop, and I want to talk some stuff.
All right.
All right, no problem. We can do it. All right.
Talk to you later.
You guys keep doing what you're doing. Jim, stay out of trouble.
All right, Nick, we'll be talking.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, we'll see you. All right, bye-bye.
See ya.
He must know me better than I thought.
No, he does.
Yeah. Anyway.
Your reputation precedes you, Jim.
It does. But hey, what we do? We have the Need for Speed 9:30. We're in the pits, right?
Now we're in the pits.
Now
we're in Victory Lane. Whatever.
Victory Lane. Checking things out here on WBCB. Happy Father's Day, Fred.
Same to you, Jim. Thanks.
Fourteen 90 WBCB at 107.3 FM W297CL Levittown.
AP News, I'm Jackie Quinn. A second day of data showing inflation is cooling down. The government releases its producer price index. Here's our Shelley Adler.
The Labor Department reported that its producer price index, which tracks inflation,